Yo, what's good, folks? This is Tre Johnson, the headbanger, yo, and you're listening to Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted. Word.
What's going on, Rally? Sorry for the somber start, man, but it's good to have you back. But for those that don't know Trey when he did our intro and didn't recognize him, I want to make sure that we had a chance to honor the guy, man. It's he was a friend and he actually just passed away. We're recording this, it's Monday the 16th. He just passed away last night. And it hit me pretty hard. And those of you that listen to the mess hall have probably heard his voice on here 100 plus times and might not have realized who he actually was. And he was one of the best offensive linemen that had played for the Burgundy and Gold. And man, I'm gonna miss him.
Well, I see you even have jersey on, so that tells me everything I need to know, man. Because what I know about you in jerseys, you got to mean something in order for you to put a jersey on. So yeah, I feel you, brother.
Yeah, it was a tough past couple of weeks for the Burgundy and Gold, and we're just starting this off, right? This ain't gonna be a sad pod, but we'd be remiss if we didn't say something about Sonny Jurgensen passing away, right?
Hmm.
Sonny was drafted back in 57, right? I doubt any of us got to ever see him play. He played for 18 seasons, but I actually knew Sonny because of the stuff I would do with Larry Michael. And I remember being a kid and we didn't have a TV growing up. So we listened to the games on the radio, right? My dad and I would just sit there. And when we finally got a TV, he would still turn the radio on. And we would still listen to Sonny and Sam. And back then it was Frank Herzog. And to this day, I still don't listen to the TV broadcast. Right? I don't go to bars to watch the game because I want to listen to the team's radio broadcast because I grew up listening to Sonny, Sam, and Frank. And just I remember there were times when I would call into the park if I was having a bad day, and I would just hear the old calls of touchdown Redskins by Frank Herzog and just different stuff. And Sonny actually, I got to know him pretty well because I would travel with the team from time to time, different away games. And one memory I had was we were in Philly and I brought Mrs. Tailgate with me and we stopped at the team hotel and Larry and Sonny and Sam and Doc and a bunch of the guys were in the team hotel and I had a stogie with me. Sonny invited me to sit down with him and smoke a cigar and I told him that story and Mrs. Tailgate must have been bored out of her mind. But it was like listening to these idols, right? Just telling you stories about back in the day. And it was maybe 2 plus hours, and the bar shut down, the hotel bar shut down. But no one's telling Sonny, who was drafted, in Philly, that, hey, this bar's closed, you got to leave. So we just stayed there pretty much for, the rest of the night until the stogies were done, the drinks were done, just listening to these Hall of Famers just tell stories about their heyday, man. And I was in awe.
I'm sure to hear those stories just makes you just really think back and because that's a part of history, and
Yeah.
to hear I'm sure, man. Because right now I wasn't there, but just to know that some of the few people that I have talked to and hear their stories, it makes you just say, "Damn!" It takes you back to that point in time. So, R.I.P. to Sonny, man.
Yeah. With the team retired his jersey the last game of the season against the Cowboys back in 2022. And I remember it was so cold that Sonny stayed upstairs in the suite and didn't get to come down on the field for the jersey retirement. But I was just so happy that he was around for it, right? It was something that should have happened years and years prior. But the fact that Sonny was still able to be there for that jersey retirement was always just awesome and badass to me. And, we lost Sam a couple of years ago. And I think I might have told the story on the podcast where Sam almost got into a fight with some Bears fans from the actual booth when he and Sonny and Larry were calling a game. And to hear those two, I mean, two best friends just going back and forth talking about the team. And Frank, actually, I think it was Larry Michael or Frank Herzog, one of the two. They both work with the guys. They said the hardest part about working with Sonny and Sam was when the team was losing, the guys would be so pissed that they would be worried about kind of cursing or saying something bad on the air. So they just shut up and wouldn't say anything. And we had a lot of years of losing, right? But
Yeah.
we, you know, we've been blessed with some awesome guys that have come through this franchise. And another one we lost. I mean, JP Finley put out that, think death happens in threes, and we lost Barry Wilburn. And a lot of our listeners might not know who he is. He was a cornerback that the team drafted in '85 that helped us win Super Bowl 23, right? Barry picked off John Elway 2 times in that Super
Wow.
Bowl, right? And it's just the dude was an all-pro. And unfortunately, it's another one that is gone. And I just heart goes out to the Burgundy and Gold, their family, and everyone else that's kind of been affected by these three Washington legends that are no longer here with us.
Well, they say two things are certain. You're gonna live and you will die. So, but you just hate that it has to happen.
Yeah.
We know eventually that we all are gonna succumb to it. So that's why they tell you, hey, live each day like it's your last, because when your number's called, you're done.
Amen, man. And I actually wore number 77 in high school. I was that big a fan of Tre Johnson, right?
Oh wow.
And I
And what
that's
position did you play again?
I played guard and tackle, just like Tre
Okay.
back in high school. So I was just a massive fan of him coming out of Temple. And it was back in '95, and I tweeted about this yesterday. They chose me to give him a tour of my high school because he was coming out to talk to everybody. And like I was just on cloud nine, man. Just being a diehard fan of the Burgundy and Gold. And that's the reason why I wore 77. Some people think that's the year I was born. No, that's just because I am such a fan of Tre. And I got to walk him around the school. And then let's fast forward, a decade, some change later. I ended up doing a podcast producing, radio show producing out of the NFLPA at the Gene Upshaw building. And Tre was doing a show. They wanted me to be Tre's producer. So I got to know Tre very well. And I've referenced him on the show from time to time about how I've learned
Mhm.
different stuff from him and, him switching and just all the different things. And my favorite memory of him, which I don't know if he would like, but I remember it was the '99 playoffs, but it happened in January of 2000, right? Brad Johnson, we're going up against the Lions, and Brad gets into a fight with one of the Lions defensive players. And I'll put the video up. JP Finley actually found the clip. Brad throws an interception. And back then, and still now, the quarterback is fair game. So the Lions player went after Brad and basically tried to take him out. Tre runs in there to defend Brad, and fight breaks out. Tre gets kicked out of the game, right? He's walking off the field, waving to the fans, trying to get the crowd hyped up. And we're losing our all-pro guard at that point, right? This is a massive blow. And the game was definitely, the beginning of the third, but that place erupted, right? It's just so one of the loudest times I've ever heard FedEx Field
Hmm.
slash, Northwest Stadium. And we ended up winning that game. And I remember talking to Tre about that when I saw him at the NFLPA. And he said he wasn't too happy about it because he got kicked out the game for it. And he was worried about getting suspended for the next playoff game. Luckily, the NFL didn't suspend him for that. They suspended him in the 2000 season for the first game of the year. But the guy he was a mauler. He was a badass. But after he retired from the NFL, dude like that, he went on to teach and help so many young kids. And he was always there when you needed him. And I reached
Hmm.
out to him when you and I were talking about doing the show, and he couldn't have been happier to hear about it and instantly offered to, help us with the recording for the podcast. And He's got a family, Irene, and a couple of kids. And those of you guys just, look up some clips of him because the guy was freaking awesome. And I wish that we had someone like that today protecting JD5. And no offense to Chris Paul and Sam Cosmi, but they all aren't built like him, man. And it's a bummer he's gone, but I wanted to make sure that we took some time out of the show to honor these Washington greats that have left us.
Definitely, definitely. And I appreciate you giving me, as well as our listeners, that lesson because you just don't know until people talk about it. And like I said, I got a little bit of goosebumps just listening to it. So I appreciate it, man. Kudos.
I appreciate it, man. And we've got 2 new play callers. It's been a month since we've done a show. All right. I started a new job. You've been flying all over the country, going to be in the Super Bowl, hanging out with Bad Bunny. So we're going to talk about the new OC, the new DC. I've got a bunch of clips of those guys and sound bites from the press conference. I know some people have checked out and haven't paid attention to as much of that stuff. We're going to do that next week, right? This show is about Rally being the Commanders fan of the year. This is about you going out to San Fran. We got to hear about this trip, bro. What happened, man? Did they fly you out first class? I mean, tell our listeners how all this went.
So obviously, I won Fan of the Year, and thank you guys for voting for me. I didn't win Ultimate Fan of the Year. A gentleman from Philadelphia did. Ed is his name. I can't think of his last name, but his first name is Ed.
That's an Eagles fan. We don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, well, you asked, so I'm telling. So people who didn't know, I didn't win. So, but that's okay though. They'll hopefully will be a fan that can win it later this season or later this year. But no, they did not fly me out first class. But the mere fact that to be able to fly, to have your airfare taken care of, your hotel accommodations, your transportation taken care of, as well as going to the NFL honors and to the game, you couldn't beat it. The other 25 fans of the years were great, just a great bunch of people. The coordinating was off the chain. Shout out to the Commanders for giving me a gift card to be able to utilize for Uber from the airport to the hotel and from the hotel back to the airport. The only thing that I needed to basically take care of, Ted, was my food from Thursday. Well, I'd say actually from Friday till Monday. It was just a great trip. I mean, the mere fact of being shuttled around to different events where I didn't have to drive, I didn't have to do anything, just basically show up. It felt really good. It did.
That's awesome, man. So where did they put you up? Because I've been to San Fran. I mean, people don't know. They don't actually play in San Francisco. They play in Santa Clara.
Yeah. Santa Clara.
So it's not that close.
Which is about 45 minutes to 50 minutes away. Yeah. We stayed downtown, San Fran, right by the pier. And so nice. You could walk from the hotel to the pier. You could walk to, I got a chance to get on one of the cable cars. I've always wanted to do that. People probably see my video. Back in the day, they were a commercial for Rice Aroni. And I said, if I ever got on the cable car, I would sing that ditty. And I did. And so I fulfilled a lifelong dream of mine to do that. Now, I have been to San Fran before, but I just didn't have time to do it because I was in a working status and not as a tourist, if you will.
Yeah, you're SB events, right? You got a lot of people you're hosting on the trip, and we're playing back in San Fran next year. So, you'll be doing that again, but you got to be a fan, right? Not that you're not a fan when you're on these trips, but there's a lot of herding cats, right? That you and Mrs. Rally got to deal with. You two just got to go and be like everybody else for a change. So you stayed in San Fran. I mean, I've never been to a Super Bowl, right? I am holding out hope that my first Super Bowl I go to is going to be one that the Burgundy and Gold are playing in, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting kind of old, so I might have to, renege on that and actually go to one. But what was it like being in the town where they were hosting it, right? I mean, you and I were in the draft in Detroit and just seeing the draft setup and the draft experience. What was the Super Bowl experience downtown in San Fran? Did they have stuff there, or was that mainly at the stadium?
No, everything was downtown. Radio Row,
Okay.
the NFL Experience, everything was in downtown San Fran. I'd say probably 15 minutes away from my hotel, if you will. 10 to 15 minutes from my hotel. Traffic was off the chain, and this is the first time that talking to my Uber driver. My Uber driver was from L.A., I want to say, and
What?
he said that he drove to so that he could make more money during the Super Bowl. And I was like, well, I think that's kind of,
But where was he
who am I to
staying?
say?
Yeah.
I
Dude
don't know
sleeping
where
in
he
his car?
stayed. I don't know, bro, but he said he came there to make as much money as he possibly could. So, hey, he had my business,
Good for him, man.
and I was his first ride from the airport when he was telling me this story. So I was shocked at that. But let's face it, the NFL brings money. So no
Oh,
matter
hell
what
yeah.
anybody, no matter what anybody says, if you're not going to the game, you're utilizing hotels, utilizing restaurants, utilizing everything that goes along with it. So the NFL knows how to work the system. They do. That's why it's the largest money grab in sports. But
So what did they
but
have out there next to the hotel from an NFL experience perspective?
so the NFL experience was they're in their convention center, and they represented all 32 teams. Everybody had their own little section, if you will, or a part of the NFL experience. I made a video seeing our helmets, and I talked a little bit about our upcoming year, what to expect, and new faces. So don't get too accustomed to seeing those old faces because a lot of them probably will be gone. And inside they had shops to where you could buy jackets, shirts, hats, Super Bowl 60 hats. And let me tell you, obviously it was a Seahawk and
Patriots.
Patriots Super Bowl, but the fact is, every team represented. And that's what I like about Super Bowl. That it's like kind of when you go overseas. Yeah, the two home teams may represent, but every fan of an NFL team that lives close by is going to show up there. And I thought I might be the only Commanders fan, but no, people were
Really?
coming to me and they were like, dude, am I reading your jersey right? Because they made us wear our jersey. And they said, am I reading your jersey right? Are you the fan of the year? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, wait a minute. I don't know anything about the fan of the year. So just telling the whole story behind it and how people voted and things of that nature, it was a good experience, man. And I really do look forward to the person who can take this experience in 2026.
So that's awesome. I mean, you got to go out there. What was do the Commanders have like a specific setup, any specific merch out there that you could only get at the Super Bowl?
No, but the Super Bowl merch was pretty much Seahawks and Patriots.
Okay.
But I did cop a Super Bowl 60 starter jacket, and I wasn't gonna do it, but man, that thing just started calling me, and
That thing
how
looks
it is.
badass, man. I
You
just
know how it, yeah, when someone calls you, because I left it alone, and I said the only thing I said, you know what, I'm gonna buy this hat, this hat that I had on, and I said that's all I'm gonna buy. But I first saw the jacket, and the jacket was a little expensive for my taste. It was, and so I said I'll bypass it, and I'll see if I can see this hat, and the hat caught my attention, and then I got to thinking about it, and I said, you know what, man, you work damn hard, for your day job with the government. You work really hard. You if you want something, get it. And so I went back, and guess what? It was gone.
oh, you serious?
It was gone. And the salesman, I said, hey man, you guys had this jacket that was just here. He goes, well, what size do you wear? And I said, I need an extra large. He goes, oh man, I sold an extra large. He goes, but I think my last extra large. He said, but I think I may have one in the back. And I said, well, I'm not leaving, so go ahead and look. And I looked, and he came out with it, and I said, "That's my sign. Give it to me." And the bucket hat that I had and the jacket, I'm not sure if you've seen the sleeves of the jacket. I'll have to take a better picture of it, but the sleeves of the jacket actually have each Super Bowl and the emblem
Oh, that's
on the
awesome.
sleeve. So there's 60 of them. So on one sleeve is 30, and the other is another 30. And the theme and their what it looked like. So man, this jacket just it called me, and I had to get it. Like I said,
You got to, man.
I'll shoot you some other pictures so that you can put up on the pod so that people can actually see the jacket.
Hell yeah. I'm watching the video on your Insta right now with the bucket hat and the jacket. And I saw you rocking that. Like, oh, that thing was sweet, man. Dude, to be able to, I know this is your second Super Bowl, but to be able to be there and be there representing the burgundy and gold is going to be such a different feeling than when you went there prior, right? I see you here on the plane in your fan of the year 2025 jacket. I'm assuming you embroidered that Commanders Washington W on there.
Yeah, I had to do that, man.
Okay.
At the bottom
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I didn't want to just look like everybody else. Because you're a fan of the year for whom? And I
Yeah.
actually have some more ideas of what I want to do to the jacket to be able to truly represent the burgundy and gold. Because people said you're fan of they would look at me and say, okay, you're fan of the year, but what fan of the year? What do you mean? And so
Yeah.
on the front, I put that Commanders on there. So yeah, man, I had to do it. I had to make it, a rally captain affair, if you will.
So if obviously you bought the jacket, but was there one thing memorabilia wise that you saw that if you had like money wasn't a question, all right, and Mrs. Raleigh wasn't there to kind of tell you to slow your roll, what would you have actually taken home?
The jacket, Ted.
You already bought that, so there was nothing
That's
else.
it.
Okay.
That's what I saw that made me just. There's certain things that just jump out at you,
Yeah.
and I don't know how you shop, but for me, if I walk into a place and I see it, whoa, and it catches me to do that, and it's in my budget, then you know what? I'm going to try my damnedest to get it because it just talked to me, and and then I guess I had a little bit of FOMO because when I went back and it wasn't there, I said I'm not letting this one get out of my clutches, and it's so supple, man. Like I said, maybe I'll bring it by so you can put it on and you can see it because the pictures really don't do it justice, man. It really doesn't.
Nice, man. It reminds me of when the DC proper had their event at
Yeah.
Northwest, right? And I still get compliments about that DC proper jacket. I was wearing it on it was a kind of a DC town hall about RFK over there by the stadium, by the DC Armory. And the guy that is in charge basically of the entire RFK campus project walks up to me, and I've seen him on TV and everything else. I'm thinking, all right, maybe I can ask this guy for a job, right? I can help with a new stadium back at home. And he taps me on the shoulder and says, I want that jacket. I'm like, nah, this is my jacket. I can get you in
Mm-mm.
touch with the people that made it a couple of years ago, and they're not selling it. And if DC proper started selling those again, they'd make a freaking killing because
Oh
that is
yeah.
the one piece of Washington gear that no matter where I am, everyone always asks me, where'd you get it? Right. And to me, that's
Yeah.
going to be that Super Bowl jacket for you. And everyone's obviously going to know you got it at the Super Bowl. But NFL honors, man. I only watched the Pro Bowl because I was hoping to catch you, and I only watched NFL honors because I was hoping to catch you. Right? Were you there for any of the Pro Bowl experience or any of that stuff? Because
No.
that was early in the week.
Yeah. Yeah. That was earlier. So I'll tell you. I like the NFL honors, but what I didn't like, and this is just going to be from the heart. It's being honest. So I get the itinerary. Now, everybody knows that I had a suit made, right? Because I specifically wanted to be on the red carpet in the NFL honors. And I had a suit made. And I get the itinerary, and the itinerary says, wear your jersey with jeans. Or jersey, it's a dress down
Yeah.
affair. And I was like, wait a minute. I- How do you want me to be on the red carpet in my jersey and some jeans? And I understand why. But initially, I didn't. So I was a little salty with that. But the reason why is because, dude, I met Dak Prescott, Puka Nakua. These guys are dressed to the nines. So the only way that they would be able to distinguish
You from
us
them.
is to be dressed down or to
Gotcha.
wear your jersey. So I didn't see that and understand that in the beginning, but afterwards I saw because we were right there, dude. I wasn't able to get a picture with B Wags, but he walked right by me. And it was one of those things where he had to get to his location, but he walked right by me and it was it was dark in the venue. So, but B Wags has a certain walk.
Oh yeah.
I said, man, that looks like B-Wag. And by the time I could get it, you know how it is, boom, boom, he was ushered off. So, but the mere fact that just Too Short, I mean, Too Short. A lot of people don't like Too Short because of what he says, whatever. But Blow the Whistle, that's a classic. And so I wanted to get with Too Short, but I wasn't able to get with Too Short because once again, I mean, everything is bang bang, bro. So if you weren't just ready and basically fiending, you're gonna miss out because
Yeah.
you turn your head to the left, and next thing you know, you turn back your head to the right. You said that's gone. Lynn Swan, I met Lynn Swan. I wasn't able to get a picture with him, but I met him, and I probably couldn't have got a picture with Lynn Swan, but it was one of those things where I felt like I was gonna bother him.
Yeah.
And now I can truly understand what people say to me when they say, "Well, man, I saw you, but I didn't want to bother you." And I'm like, "No, you could have taken a picture with me." I basically I feel as though I mean I'm not gonna say I'm nobody, but I don't feel as though I have that status. You know what I mean? Not like Lynn Swan or Dak Prescott or anybody like that. So I, I just I'm not on that level, if you
Yeah.
will. So to someone that's saying that I'm honored that someone would ever want to take a picture. But if you say, well, I thought that you were too busy, I'm never too busy unless I tell you, hey, give me a minute because I am. Let's face it, Madrid. That was the time that I could not take a picture where I couldn't be me. I couldn't be the rally captain. But if there was ever a time that I was ever busy and I can say that, that was Madrid. Madrid, I was too busy to do anything because of the ticket fiasco. But any other time, guys, please, if you see me and you want, hey, we'll take a picture. It's no big deal. But for the first time, I could honestly see what people meant by when they say, well, I thought that you might not want to, or because Lynn just had that look on his face to where it wasn't like, don't approach me, but you could tell, hey, I've got business to take care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's
There's certain looks that people can give you that you're just like, oh, you know what? I understand. I got it.
I hear you, man. So what was it like walking the red carpet? Because I'm those that are listening to this, I've got pictures of Rally's suit from from his X account here, seeing the 2025 fan of the year stitched on the inside, right? Your name on your sleeve here. What was it like rocking that and wearing that on the red carpet? Were you, because some people, Mrs. T might have maybe watched like E, and it's like the red carpet for like the Grammys or the Oscars, and you see all those photographers like, hey,
Yeah.
so and so, look over here, look over there, type of thing. Was it like that for
Just
you?
just like that. And people, so I gotta tell you, people were saying, who is this dude with the burgundy suit? And see that and then this one kind of got me, Ted. Who's got the burgundy suit? Oh, he's the Commander Fan of the Year. You see what I'm saying?
I love
Because the
that suit
suit
though, bro.
that's what I'm saying. The suit, bro, made it felt like it needed to be there.
Yeah,
And if I didn't at first I said, I'm not wearing the jersey. I'm gonna hold on to it, but I'm gonna rock my suit. And then I said, you know what? Let me go rally captain style and put the jersey on and sport my rally captain hat,
the
my
jersey with
captain's
a
hat.
hat's clutch. Yeah,
Yeah. And so I said, that's what I'm going to do. But at first, I wasn't going to do it. But at the same time, I wasn't going to knock or go against the people who got me there. You feel what
yeah.
I'm saying?
No, I hear
So,
you.
so, so I was like, all right, I got to be able to put this together. And so the hat and the jersey combination with the jacket and the pants and shoes. Oh man! But people they noticed. They were like, "Who? Oh my God!" Because the suit once again, pictures just don't do it justice, bro. So, but I'm not putting that on for you.
So I've been
I'm
looking for a burgundy suit, right? Because I typically I've had my suits. I can't buy off the rack because for some reason I've
yeah.
got freakishly like long arms. I don't know why, but like that sit and reach we used to do back in the day when we were kids. Like I
Yeah.
always got like top honors in sit and reach because my arms are just
Winner.
long, right? But it helps, with doing different pickleball stuff, everything else. But I can't get a suit off the rack because of that.
Yeah.
So I go
Yeah.
to Indochino, right? They do custom suits. I'm sure people have heard of them, but they don't have a good burgundy material for me to make a suit out of. So I've been
Mhm.
waiting. So when I go on Fox and do different stuff, I'm never wearing a burgundy jacket because I just can't find one. But seeing yours, like, damn, I got to figure out where the hell you got that. Is I'm with you, man. I
Seven
don't
oh
like. Where's this?
707 authentic clothing in
Okay.
Richmond.
All right. Go get some ZZQ. I might have to hit them up after that
Yep.
because it looks freaking spot on, man. It's the right color, everything else. And when I go on Fox, I don't just rock a jersey, right? I've got to have a jacket or something over top of it. And to me, you did, burgundy and gold proud with this one.
So, little known fact. So I'll tell you a little bit of backstory behind this suit. Men's Warehouse made a suit for me years ago. And I said, once I found out that I won Fan of the Year, I said, you know what, I want to get a suit made. So I went to Men's Warehouse and Men's Warehouse with the picture or design of what I wanted. And Men's Warehouse said, no, we can't do it. And so I was like bummed out. And I said, well, do you know of any clothing stores that can do it? And he goes, oh, yeah, 707 in Richmond, they can do it. And I said, all right. I don't have anything to do today. I drove down to Richmond.
Yeah.
Little known fact, they're the same company. We were meant to be. They're the same company that made Art Monk's jacket.
The one that they were giving him at the National
The,
Harbor
the,
event I was at.
the burgundy jacket that he
That's
wore.
awesome.
And if you look in the inside of his jacket, he
Yeah.
has pictures of him representing the skins and his life adventures. If you look in the inside of mine, they have pictures. Matter of fact, there's even a picture of you in there, bro, in the inside of that jacket.
Oh man, now I'm getting goosebumps. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
looking at their webpage right now, 707rva.com. And
yeah.
they've got some. I might have to make a trip, man. I might have to hit
Oh,
them up.
they'll do you right, bro. They'll do you right. They did me right. And yeah, the guy says, "Oh my God." He goes, "Wait a minute. You're the fan of the he goes, you're the fan of the year." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're not gonna believe this, but this is meant to be because we do a lot of the players' suits."
I'm actually
So,
surprised though, because I mean, obviously they're in Richmond, but the Commanders are based up out of Ashburn. So for them to hit them up to go down there, that means they do
hey,
good
bro,
work, right?
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
When you find a good person who makes suits the way that you want, a good tailor, a person who has everything you need about that niche, hey man, you know, because like you, they can't wear anything off the rack.
Yeah.
They want it to be custom fit, and so I'm satisfied. And if I ever need another suit, I will go down there and have them make it for me. It's a great shop, and they've been there since I want to say 1965 or something like that. I mean, they've been there for a long time, bro, in downtown Richmond. So yeah, if you can do it, I say go down there and get a suit made, and they'll fit you out from head to toe, and they'll give you all types of ways you can rock your gear. So great bunch of
Nice.
people.
No, that's good to hear, man. I'm definitely gonna do that. So, where were you guys sitting for the honors? Because the only time I saw the fans was when they announced the fan of the year was,
Hmm.
I think, that Ed guy from Philly, but I couldn't
Right.
see where they had you all. Were you just in, the rafters in the
We
back someplace or?
we were in a gin pop rafter, if you want to say.
Okay.
But this area where they had us, the players, I guess the VIP area, they had to walk up the steps. We were up the steps, and everybody else was kind of like floor level. Do you remember when the Junks had their
Yeah,
thing
the
on
event at the
Chantilly?
theater. Yeah,
Yeah, so everybody was upstairs or you had downstairs. Well, that's kind of how it was. The fans of the year, they were up top and everybody else was kind of like down low, but all the VIPs, if you will, were down low. But to get to a VIP area, you had to walk right past us to
that's
get
awesome.
to this area. So yeah, man, I was a little bummed out about that because I'm not used to doing stuff like that. I'm used to sitting row one. I'm used to sitting, close. I've been spoiled, man. You know what I mean?
I
So
mean, Puka Nakua was row one, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I get why that happened, but it's just I'm assuming Mrs. Raleigh was with you at that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's it. Did they give you free drinks, or did you have to get your own stuff?
Yeah, yeah, no free drinks, hors d'oeuvres. I mean, and they had some great hors d'oeuvres. Everything's sponsored by Captain Morgan. So anything that Captain Morgan, the alcohol that he has, the rums, whatever you wanted, they could put it together. And so let's just say that it felt good.
Because I mean, not knocking. You and I got to be in the inner circle for the draft, and not knocking that
Yes,
experience at all. I can you believe the draft will be here next year, right? It's going to be in
it's been
DC in
confirmed.
2027. Oh yeah, no, we're getting the draft in 27.
Wow, I didn't remember that. I guess I
Yeah,
do, but it slipped my mind.
yeah. The NFL draft in 20. Yeah, it's definitely here next year because I was talking to a team official about it
Mhm.
when I saw them at an event, and it's going like that is going to be in DC, right? I remember when you and I were at the draft in Detroit. We're in the inner
Hmm.
circle, first time you getting experience that me and you, right? And then they had food. We had to pay for all of our food, pay for all of our drinks, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
like what you had at the actual Super Bowl NFL honors party. So I was kind of curious how they were going to take care of you guys there. And it's two fans from every team, right? Basically, like Noah's Ark, you're just bringing one of each person over there with you and the missus. So it's not as many people to have to worry about and everything else. But I've been waiting to hear from you, wanting to hear from you about how all that went down. And the fact that the Commanders gave you a gift card, probably could have used it to pay for the jacket too. But the fact that they gave you a gift card and to had that kind of foresight to make sure you weren't spending a ton of money out of your pocket was awesome. So let's move to the Super Bowl, right? How was it getting in? Was it as bad as the security we had to deal with in Madrid? Because you kept hearing horror stories about just all the extra added security at the Super Bowl. At least we did from afar. I mean, what time did you get to the stadium? Like, what was that like? Because people can't tailgate for the Super Bowl. So, what was going on?
So here's the deal. They had us leave the hotel at 10:30 in the morning by bus. And we sat back, we relaxed, had some adult beverages, and the next thing you know, we're in Santa Clara. We're parked. I think what bummed okay, they had a strict itinerary to where, hey, look, everybody needs to stay together. Um, because we had a photo shoot that we needed to go to. Well, not a photo shoot, but we had a video shoot that we had to be on the field by a certain time. So we had to walk as a group through the metal detectors and then meet to be able to go onto the field to be announced as the NFL's fan of the year. Um, the NFL, I have to say, Ted, is really getting strict on what you can bring. And what I mean by that is, so what do I take to every game? The two things that I take to every game, and
I
and
mean,
and one,
you're flagging your chain, obviously.
yes, yes. Well, the chain could go in. Oh, no banners this year. And I said, well, I said no one ever. I said on my itinerary it says that you can bring it. He goes, nope, no banners. So I was like, well, I'm with this group and I can't get separated because they said we're on a strict timeline, bro. And no banners of any sort can come in and this, that, and the third. And I'm like,
It's a
guys, I said,
flag.
sir, but it's a banner that has all the stadiums on it. And I said, even this stadium has been on here. He goes, nope, no banners. You can't. And so I said, well, sir, my group is leaving and I need to be with them. And I said, I'm not trying to throw any weight around, but I'm a fan of the year and I'm supposed to be with that group. And so he goes, well, you can take it to one of these little lockers. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to walk all the way to Kingdom Come to one of these
Yeah.
lockers, it'd be even further from this group because once again, we've got a timeline to meet.
Oh, they're not
And
waiting for
every
you.
oh no, yeah, definitely not. And so I'm saying, oh my God. So what did I do? And I put it underneath I walked back out, I put it underneath my shirt, and I went back in through another entrance. And I walked in because and so now, once again, I'm you don't see me in a panic mode very often, but I'm in a panic mode right now because let's face it, imagine Northwest Stadium's parking lot, and you're in, I don't know, Platinum. If they still have Platinum. I don't think they have Platinum anymore, but you're whatever the highest parking lot you can get to. But now you got
Yeah.
to walk over from the hypothetically from the red zone lot to your to where you are.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you're sidewalk side or stadium side, or you don't know if you're street side. All you know is there are 32 people who are in front of you who have fan of the year on their jersey trying to pick them out. It was pandemonium, bro. I get on the phone, and luckily we had a text line. I said, okay, I got lost. Who can meet me? And the NFL rep says, okay, she's trying to tell me where to go. And so obviously you start asking the people who are there to help, the yellow shirts or the yellow jackets or whatever you
Yeah.
want
The
to call it.
CSC people.
And they're like, I think it's over there. I said, listen, I can't go by what you think. I need to go by what you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because time is ticking, bro. And they're about to walk into the tunnel area so that we can get on the field.
Yeah.
And so, bro, I'm
Can imagine the
panicking.
stress, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. So finally, the lady from the NFL rep says, "Hey, come to this particular location, and we will wait for you." So that made me feel a little bit better. And then all of a sudden, as I'm walking or light running, if you will, to this location, I spot them, and it made me feel that much better. But I got a bone to pick, and I understand why the NFL is doing it. They're trying to say we don't want anything that's going to impede anyone
Someone else's
else's
view.
vision of the game, which I get it. But I think that that's something they should put on the on not itinerary, but they should put it on the website or wherever they need to say it. Just like they have clear bag, or you can't have a bag that's bigger than your palm. I think that they need to say that. So guess what? I meet up with my people. We go in the tunnel, and that's where I met Tiki Barber. I'm not sure if you saw that picture with me and Tiki.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, so I met him in the tunnel. So we do what we need to do on the field. We come back, and guess what I see? All these fans with 12 flags,
Flags.
the same size as my commander's flag. And I got pissed because if you say if maybe I saw maybe one other person with a banner, maybe I'd say okay, but I saw tons of people with these banners that had 49ers, they had Seahawks, they had Patriots flags. I felt some kind of way, bro.
I don't blame
I
him, man.
did.
To me, I think you just got someone that had a bad day, right? I just because I don't know. It's to me that's not a banner, right? It is a flag, and it is just completely different, right? If I think of a banner, I think of something just completely different than that. That's just going to
Yeah,
take up so much room. But I'm glad to hear that it didn't stop you from being a part of that. I'm curious
yeah.
to see when this video is coming out or what they're going to do with all that because I haven't seen any of it. I don't know if they've sent it to you guys or messaged you at all, but that's just awesome that you got to go. So you were on the field ahead of time.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yep.
I was
And
watching. Go ahead.
they announced this prior to kickoff. Uh and it was a great feeling, man, just being there. I have some pictures of me being on the field. Excuse me, of me being on the field. I really haven't even posted anything yet because it's bang bang, man.
Yeah.
I'm slowly starting to be able to do things, and that's one thing I will say about Miss Riley. You know, she's always give me the pictures, give me the pictures, give me the pictures. And I'm like, they're just pictures. Calm down. But now I see why she wants it because you'll forget about it or you'll move on to the next thing in this thing called life. And so, but I need to do better.
I've been waiting and looking at your Instagram and your ex, like waiting to see about the experience. And people were asking me, like, he hasn't posted anything from the Super Bowl. It's like, I mean, you did a couple things, right? You posted the picture of the halftime message from Bad Bunny's performance and everything else. So I've just been wanting to talk to you, and shame on us for not being able to record a show. We guys, life gets in the way. Just started a new job. Things are happening right now. So I appreciate you
Congrats, by
guys
the way.
subscribing to the show. I appreciate that. I'm happy in the new spot. But to hear that, and I saw your picture of where you were sitting for the game, it cracked me up because I remember being at an old Redskins game that ended up in a 7-7 tie, and I was literally in the last seat back then FedEx Field. You know, if I reached over, I could reach outside the stadium, and it reminded me like your seat was kind of like that. But the fact that you were at the Super Bowl, right, and didn't have to pay for the ticket and were representing the burgundy and gold, I'm assuming you couldn't have pawned your ticket or sold your ticket at that point.
Well, so once again, I probably could have, but meeting up with the group to get the transportation back, I probably would have missed them
Yeah, I hear
because
it. It's
that's
just,
and that's one of the things they said. Hey, 10 minutes after kickoff, the NFL rep will be back up to this area to call roll to get everybody, and we're going to walk as a group back to the buses. And we
so
had
you
a there
went
was
back to the bus after you went on the field.
no so after the field, we were free to do whatever we wanted to do before the game. So we still
How
had a
much time
couple.
did
We
you
still had
have?
maybe 20 minutes.
Okay, so 20 minutes
Yeah,
before the game started. So not a ton
yeah,
of time. But I mean, it would
yeah,
take you
yeah.
that long to get to your seat.
Yeah, 25 minutes, something like that. And so, they said, you're free to do whatever you want to do. So then we went back. So where we took this picture was, okay, let me say this. Let me go back. So we went on the field. Then they took us back to the Captain Morgan ship for these free drinks. So everybody had time to make their way to the Captain Morgan ship from the outside to get these free drinks. And then after that, you were free to do whatever you wanted to do. So you had roughly 25 minutes, if you will, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay.
Um, and so there was this lady who had this leather NFL outfit on that basically had all of the teams. And Miss Captain says, "Oh wow, look at that outfit. She's gorgeous. I wonder who that is." Because she didn't have the we thought maybe she was a normal fan who just was a good looking normal fan. Come to find out, she took a picture with Remy Ma, the rapper,
Okay.
and I'm like, I didn't know that was her, and neither did anyone. She just fit in, but I kind of saw security, if you will, around her. But once again, my mind isn't on everything. My mind is just trying to take it all in, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's the outfit. That's the NFL outfit that she had on with all the teams. If I'm looking at the picture right,
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
and
She's
so,
got all the logos on here.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I'd have
great.
no idea who she is.
Yeah,
So
I just thought that she was just a nice looking lady who decided to put NFL fashion on. You know what I
there you
mean?
go.
Until later on, come to find out that was Remy Ma. So, and that's what I'm telling you, man. The people fit in like anybody else, and unless you are a true elite watcher, which
Like
I'm
a
not.
pop culture head, right? If you're
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
into all this pop culture stuff and you follow all these things, and yeah, you're gonna miss
yeah.
it.
They'll miss you. And because I heard people saying, "Isn't that so and so?" And I'm like, I don't know if that maybe it is because there are a lot of people who obviously were on the red carpet who I don't know who they are. I got a hard enough time keeping up with my own life, Ted. I can't keep up with everybody. But obviously I know Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? There are certain
Yeah.
people who you just know because like but some people who are they're still A-listers, but they're A-listers on another side, if you will.
Yeah.
I didn't know, and so I kept hearing, "Hey, that's so and so," and I look oh, okay, I guess that is him or her. But it
So
was
you
just a
need to
great
have your
experience.
Meta glasses, man. Just take a picture and then ask Meta, "Who is this?" And then it'll spit back out to you. Did you see the video of the guy's Meta glasses that jumped on the field during the Super Bowl? That streaker guy.
Yeah,
It's,
come to
it's
find out, this is the first time he's done it.
yeah. I mean, he put a bet in, right, on someone jumping on the field, and he won the bet, obviously, because he's the one that jumped on the field and did
Uh,
it. And did you see that he had a decoy guy jump?
yes, yes.
I mean, granted, we're not telling people to do this. It's, obviously not the right thing to do. You get your ass in trouble, blah, 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 thrown in jail for a little bit, but he made some money.
He
So
was
I just thought
fast
it was
too.
kind of funny. Oh yeah. I
He,
was so hoping he was going to get laid out too, man, because that Pats DB was sitting right there waiting to go. And I think they tell the players don't do that or whatever
don't
else,
get
but
involved. Yeah.
yeah. So what was your highlight, man? I mean, you were there for the halftime show and everything else. What was your highlight of the game?
Two things. Two things, believe it or not. One, the flyover. That flyover was awesome.
I mean, you could have
And
reached out and touched the plane. So
I read the captain's name on the side of the plane.
said Maverick and Goose right there.
Yeah, right there. And the halftime show, the flyover, the halftime show. Now, let me tell you, I don't speak Spanish, but Ted, the vibe, bro, was such a good vibe. I mean, now I will say that I did see people who were doing this,
You got your curmudgeons everywhere you go.
but then for the most part, you look all around and people were just having a good time, vibing to the beat. And I don't know what they do as far as sound systems are concerned in these stadiums, but that sound system reminded me of the cars that go boom back in the day. You remember those cars back in the day when people put speakers all in their car and they drive down the street? Booming
I
systems, LL
just
Cool J did.
sold I just sold two 10-inch subwoofers that have been sitting in my garage on Facebook Marketplace. All right, because I used to be that guy that had those subs with a big
Yeah.
ass amp in the back of his car, and I still got that in the tailgate van. But when Mrs. Tailgate and I got together, it's just like you're not 20 anymore, right? This thing is just it's because we couldn't put suitcases in the car. There was no
Oh
room for
no.
luggage because the woofers were just too big in the back of the car. But it was like that at Levi, man. That's I mean, obviously the NFL is going to do what they need to do to make sure that everything was top notch,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, man, and that's how it was. I mean, that bass, that reverberation, just it was just a vibe. And I mean, like I said, I don't speak well, I shouldn't say a lick of Spanish. They say un poquito español. I know that. That's as far as I can go, and I feel good. You know what I mean? Hell, I'm good if I can hit the wrong button on the ATM machine and make it through and get my money out. I'm,
I hear you, man. I don't speak it either, but definitely I was actually listening to a bunch of Bad Bunny heading up to the Super Bowl because I enjoy his music. I've seen him in concert. I saw him at
oh
Cap
yeah,
One.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him at Cap One perform there, seen him, other times, and I was happy about the Super Bowl. And not to get political about any of that stuff, I was excited. And then to see you post the picture up top there, I thought that was badass. And to me, so okay, the flyover in that, but the vibe in the game, right? Obviously, you had a lot of Pats fans there. You had a lot of 12s there.
The 12
Was
took
there?
over.
Okay,
The
so
12,
there
the
was a
12.
home field advantage.
Oh, definitely there was because obviously because of they were so close. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, uh, fact is that they're on the West Coast, and so the Seahawks are I don't know how far they are from San Fran, but they're closer obviously than Boston.
Yeah.
So New England. So they had a true advantage, and I can I'm not sure if you can hear it on TV or not, but in the stands, Seahawks. See, I mean, you heard it, bro. The same way they took over our stadium and they beat us early in the year.
But they,
So
they, they crushed us that
yeah,
game. That was the Daryl Green with the Spears Sunday night game that you
yeah.
actually missed the beginning of, and they crushed us that game. So who were you cheering for? I mean, were you yelling Seahawks
Seahawks.
or okay?
I wasn't. Oh no, wait. Whoa, 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 brother. I wasn't yelling for nobody. If they ain't commanders, I'm not losing my voice. I will say this: for the first time, I wanted the Seahawks to win, but for the first time, I didn't care who won. If that makes
Gotcha.
sense, I was just happy to be in the building.
Yeah, I
That's
wasn't. I wasn't cheering for. I didn't actually. The only reason I cared about the Super Bowl was because you were there, right? And just knowing the experience you were getting and halftime show. I was looking forward to that. I could care less if Seattle won. I could care less if the Pats won. I did put a ton of money down on Seattle winning. I think I got them at a -6.5 because I thought that they were going to win by at least a touchdown. Should have probably put down like -10.5 considering. But I mean, the Patriots fans had nothing to cheer about, right? The game was
No,
so boring, so
no, yeah.
one-sided. And I can't imagine. So did they put you back on a bus to get out of there, or were you guys all on your own to get back?
So yeah, they put us back on the bus, and that's what I was saying before we got off of the bus. The NFL rep said, "Okay, uh, after 10 minutes after the game, stay in your seats because we're going to come back up, call a roll, and then escort
Okay.
everyone back to the buses." So once again, man, hey, first class affair, bro. There was an AFC bus and an NFC bus, and so there was.
That's
And,
funny.
yeah, and so it was a great experience. It really was, and I look forward to being able to pass the jersey on to next year's winner of the Fan of the Year.
So your duties aren't done yet, though, because you got to be at the draft too in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I will be there. I
That's
can't
awesome.
wait. I can't wait.
So,
Hotels are through
because
the roof, but hey, man,
they should
it
be
is what
taking
it
care
is.
of that for you guys, right?
No, and,
All right.
if they are, they haven't said anything to me as of yet.
We'll cut
So
this
thank
up and send it to them.
So thank
So,
goodness, thank goodness I have a refundable room where I can cancel just in case if they do pull a rabbit out of the hat and tell me that they have a room for me in Pittsburgh because I will be there.
nice. Yeah, I'm still excited to hear that you're going to get a chance to experience all that and be there for the draft. I don't know what the hell we're going to do in the draft. We'll talk about that during a different show. But you had just a freaking awesome trip, right? What was the best part of it?
The best part of the trip, flying home. No, I'm not playing. The best part of the trip was just being in the atmosphere of the NFL once again, knowing that it's going to be the last game of the season that I'll be able to take in until the new season. It was a good feeling being, even though they're like my stepbrothers, even and sisters, even though you don't call them steps, fans being in the in crowd of the NFL once again, that was
Yeah,
the highlight, man. It really was, and meeting the other fan of the years, great bunch of people and hearing their stories.
that's awesome, man. I know some of them through my PFUFA stuff and recognize them like the Panthers couple and just some other people that were fan of the year. So the fact that you got a chance to meet them and be there with them, to me, other than maybe meeting a couple of people, NFL honors probably would have been a highlight. But to know that you're in such a small, tight knit fraternity, man, and you definitely deserved it. And I'm happy that the trip went off without a hitch and that you just had such a great time. And they actually had the jacket in your size. You got to send me pics.
Yeah,
And the rest of it, man, is history, bro.
yeah, man. I look forward to the chapter closing for the 25 season, and I really do look forward to the door opening for the 2026 season. I really do, man, because once again, what happened last year is last year. We've got a brand new season, a brand new year to get it right. And I can't wait to take this ride with you as well as our listeners to see what happens, man.
Amen, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. And the next show, we'll catch up on some of the stuff that we missed with the OCs and the DCs and the new mock logo and everything else that was coming out during that couple of shows we
Can't
missed
wait.
out.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Well, hey, I hear the music playing in the background, which lets me know that we're bringing another episode of the DMV Mess Hall to a close. Thank you guys for riding with me. And I really want to say thank you again for voting for me. I really do appreciate it. And remember, you rep it hard, but you don't rep it at all. Rally Captain Tailgate Ted. We'll see you on the next one.